Hello, and welcome to another Fandom Friday, where a member of the Rogers Public Library staff tells you something they are a fan of. I'm Evan Day, and I'm here to show you some stuff that I'm a fan of, which is good books to curl up to during a cold winter's night. I know we're all thinking about this, so I was thinking, what more appropriate book to read when we're all snowed in than a story about people living and surviving in Antarctica or the Arctic, right? Perfect. First book I want to talk about is White Darkness, The White Darkness by Geraldine Bacawthron. And I am pretty sure I mispronounced her name there, but regardless, it's a good book. The main character is Simone. She has had a bit of a tough time. Her father has died. Her uncle has been taking care of her family for a while. She's lost most of her hearing. She has to use a hearing aid, and she's become somewhat introverted to the point that her main friend is an imaginary friend, an imaginary Lawrence Titus Oates. Now, you may not know who Lawrence Oates was. He was a real-life person who was on a British expedition to try to beat the Norwegians to the South Pole. Sadly, his expedition not only did not beat the Norwegians to the South Pole, they all eventually died. Lawrence Oates is actually notable for going out into the, he had frostbite, he was slowing the group down, and he basically walked out into the freezing cold of Antarctica so he wouldn't slow down his group anymore. Anyway, he's a very famous explorer, and she actually sort of has this ongoing conversation with Lawrence Oates, this man who died exploring in in Antarctica, and basically works as his imaginary friend in a conversation piece that she has throughout the entire book. Now, her uncle, why is she in Antarctica? Well, her uncle is a believer in the hollow earth theory, that there's this whole civilization under the earth, in the insides of the earth, and that he can find an entrance to this hollow earth, this secret world, through a hole in Antarctica. Yes. So yeah, she's being dragged along on this really crazy trip by her crazy uncle. And as she goes along this trip, not only will she have to learn to survive in Antarctica, she is also going to have a lot of secrets about her family revealed as well. Again, the book is The White Darkness, and as you can tell by the gold seal, this is a Michael L. Prince Award winner for 2008. Prince Award is like the Newbery for teen books. It's an award for excellence in young adult literature. So by all means, check it out. One other book I want to talk about is actually a nonfiction book, Marooned in the Arctic by Peggy Carvantes, as I probably mispronounced another name. This is the true story of Ada Blackjack. Ada Blackjack was a 23-year-old Inuit woman in 1921 who accompanied four men I should say, to stay on an island north of Siberia. The idea was that it was a top secret mission. They were going to actually claim this island for Great Britain or Canada. You had 3 Americans, 1 Canadian, and they were just going to stay on this island and actually claim it. But rations started to run low. They couldn't kill enough game, they couldn't find enough food. One of the men got scurvy and became very ill. So 3 of them actually walked across the icy ocean hoping to reach mainland and find help, but they were never seen from again, which left Ada alone with the sick man, basically having to fend for herself, although she did have a cat named Vic with her. Eventually the man who was sick with scurvy died as well, leaving her all alone by herself on this island. She ended up spending 2 years there, and at least 2 months, completely by herself. It's just her and her cat, using her skills to survive, fishing, making a boat so she could fish, making a makeshift stove, hunting for game herself. And she managed to survive, and when she was finally rescued, she was known as the female Robinson Crusoe. So again, perhaps a story you haven't heard about, that is a story of survival, which I always find interesting. Marooned in the Arctic. Anyway, those are just 2 warm and cozy stories for when you're trapped inside, snowed in. If you're looking for books like this to keep you company during those cold winter days, keep in mind we are still open with limited hours by appointment only. Check our social media sites like Facebook to know whether we're open or not. We are also still doing curbside pickup as well. So check us out there. Check out our online services like Libby, Hoopla, and others as well. That's this week's Fandom Friday. I hope you all stay warm this weekend, and we'll see you next week.